Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to A Fresh Perspective on Business Podcast. I'm Laura Leyland, Managing Director of Fresh Perspective. I've not been here for a while, it feels. And here today, my co-host extraordinaire is Mr. Tony Greenwood.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Very, very well.
I feel like I've not seen you for ages.
I don't think I've seen you since the Marseille Vive la France.
Vive la France.
Vive la France. Hello, everybody. Back in the podcast studio with Laura.
Everybody.
How are we? It's Friday. You know what that means? It's Bieber's Day. It's Bieber's Day and it's podcast day. We're going to get a glad rags on later and party and win an award. That's what we're going to do. But before that, we're going to talk to you about how to manage stress in your business and give you some tips and pearls of wisdom along the way. And Laura came up with this topic, didn't you?
I did. It's not quite fitting with the party vibes of tonight. However, they are business awards, and as a business, as a micro business, we've had to deal with a lot of stress,
of course,
along the way. So I thought we would talk about it. It was sadly prompted by having a panic attack.
Great.
On the beach.
Wow, really?
On Monday, like this Monday.
This Monday just gone. When you were sat in Greece.
Yeah, and I think I was actually sat reading a book, so on a sun lounger.
What book was it?
It was the third book in a series called Sweet Pea about a vigilante sociopath who murders rapists and paedophiles.
Okay, wasn't expecting that.
It's funny. It's called Sweet Pea.
It sounds hilarious.
It's funny. It's also a bit dark.
Okay.
But yeah, I think.
Okay.
So,
Woo.
Yeah, I felt like coming on, I'd sit up and do some deep breathing.
Right.
Pete, my fiance, wasn't sure what was going on, so I had to tell him, because I've learnt, and this is one of the tips we'll get onto, that you need to talk about it when things like this happen, and not try to manage it in your own head.
Yes. Get it out, or write it down, or get it out there, and it's sometimes not as bad as what's in your head when you get it out there, but certainly sharing is certainly something that you should be doing.
Yeah, it reminds me of a kettle. You know the ones that whistle?
Yeah.
So when you flick the thing up on the spout, it starts whistling because you let the steam out.
Yeah.
So it's like that, like talking
Steam's
or
in
letting
your head.
it out lets you steam out your brain so that you start whistling.
That's right.
Don't whistle.
Stop. Don't whistle.
Stop whistling.
Stop whistling, guys, if you can.
Throw your whistle, bitch.
Throw your whistle. Absolutely. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. So, but before we do that and before we sing, I'd like you to indulge me and sit back, relax, enjoy yourselves. Shut your eyes if you can, not if you're driving. As I say, this is episode 213 of A Fresh Perspective on Business podcast. But Laura, can you share with me and everyone listening around the United Kingdom and planet Earth right now, what is that in Spanish, please?
Episodio número 213.
Oh, wow. Some sounds there that I don't even know if I've heard before. Very good.
I really wish I should have learnt what it was in Greek, seeing as that's where I've come back from.
Oh, you should have. But the listeners won't want that.
No,
They don't want Greek.
They're not used to it.
Don't need to, in a way.
No.
Don't need to. So we always like to sing a song at the beginning of the podcast. You know this, and it's one of my favourite bits of the podcast, of course. And we usually title the podcast after the song. But recently we've been uploading the podcast via some new witchcraft and Hogwarts wizardry that means SEO, podcast SEO, and all that kind of sexy stuff means that you need to title the name of the podcast about the topic, which is better for reach and listenership.
Well, yeah, apparently people aren't searching for
simply the
Taylor
best by
Swift song titles.
No, they won't.
But
be.
meaning the songs will come up if they are looking for Taylor Swift songs, our podcast will feature. But we realised that our competition in the business podcast world.
Oh, Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah. Hi. We've got to compete. So his topics, his titles, his captions, they're searchable because people are putting in things about how to run a business or how to, I don't know, deal with people leaving for the first time, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they will come up. So I was are a lot more lighthearted, so probably don't feature. So we're going to have to step up our podcast game.
We will do. We will be doing.
We are competing.
I'm happy to compete with Stephen Bartlett.
With Stephen Bartlett.
That's it.
Stephen Bartlett, if you're listening.
We are coming like a freight train baby. Are you ready? He ain't singing on his podcast, though, is he?
No.
No, he isn't. We wanted to...
I really would like to listen to Stephen Bartlett sing, and I don't think I ever will.
I don't think that's in his repertoire.
No.
Okay. Laura wanted to sing a song that's related to this evening's soiree at the Blackpool Tower Ballroom in the Beavers, because we are nominated for Micro Business of the Year, and we will win. Let me tell you.
Because why?
Because we're simply the best.
Down, down, down. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
Boo, ba, boo.
Anyone you ever met.
Oh, I love Tina Turner. I think we sang that song.
I am getting like deja vu vibes.
So we sang that song outside a French bistro restaurant under a canopy during a storm on the first afternoon of Marseille.
Yes. That's when we sang it.
When someone decided to check the weather and say, let's go to the beach, I'm like, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
It said scattered thunderstorms. To me, it means it comes on for a bit and then it goes. It doesn't come on and stay for 4 hours.
The clue's in the title, though, isn't it? Thunder. I don't care whether they're scattered or not. If I'm on a beach, right, and I get hit by a scattered thunderstorm, my afternoon
but usually it's like 10 minutes, downpour.
All right.
And then it's sunny again.
Okay. Do you think if you were led on the beach like we were on Friday and a scattered thunderstorm came, that you would stay on the beach?
No, so it happened in Greece.
No way.
Yeah. So it started raining when we were on the beach. So we all went and stood in the bar, and then we went back out and it stopped raining.
Okay. And how long was the scattered thunderstorm?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay. So you're probably listening last week. But for those that weren't, why not? But we ended up sat in not in our shorts and in our shorts and t-shirt with towels wrapped round us under a canopy of a massive French bistro, drinking the biggest vodka and cokes you've ever seen and pints of 1664 Kronenberg, and singing.
Singing Simply the Best, because we are.
Simply
and we're going to win tonight.
We're going to win tonight. Exciting. So Laura's back from Greece. Did you have a good time?
We had a lovely time. It was really nice. Went away with the family.
Lovely.
Went to Olympia.
What's that, please?
Where the very first Olympics was in 776 BC.
Crikey.
So it's bits of it still there.
What is it, like a Colosseum?
There's a track where they used to do chariot racing, and there's like a training area, and there's a temple up for Zeus.
Right.
I don't know, because Zeus.
Greek god.
God. He's the god of gods.
He's the god of God, is Zeus. God of war? I don't know.
He's the big chief.
He's the chief god.
Chieftain god.
That's what he is. Shout out Zeus. Hope you're well. And it says, I like to not probe into the stories that you're going to tell on the podcast, because I like to know them live. But it says here, chased by a dog. So why and whose dog and when was this?
So I would go to the gym when I'm on holiday, took my running stuff, wasn't that bothered about going from because it was boiling, but Emily needed to go to the chemist and no one would go with her. She's like, shall we run to the chemist and back? I'm like, yes. So we got up early, we went out like 8:30, 9 o'clock, running to the chemist, which was quite happily 2.5 kilometres away.
Great.
On the way there, a black dog came over to us and like trotted behind us for a bit, but I was okay with that. And there was a lot of dogs in like, I don't know, people's yards, gated yards, barking at us, but they were behind bars. Ran to the chemist, got our stuff, ran back. And some of these gates were open, and this one dog ran after us, and I am not scared of dogs, but it was vicious AF. It had its teeth bared, it was snarling, and it was running after us. We got a bit of a stamp on. And I'm thinking, shit, it's going to bite. This dog is going to bite me. And Emily just became this mama bear and just started roaring at this dog and scared it off.
Roaring as in?
Like, shouting like, get away from us! It was amazing.
And the dog went, oh, okay, will do.
Dog ran off.
Jogged on. Wow.
Saved us.
What sort of dog was it?
Don't know. Looked like a dangerous looking collie not collie, Lassie's type dog.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
It's a shame for Lassie, isn't it? She's got tagged with an aggressive tag now, if anything.
Yeah, so it definitely got us running a bit faster.
Well, that's good. Run faster to run faster, of course.
There you go. So yes, we got chased by a dog, which wasn't expecting.
No, you won't be. This week has been the celebration of my son's 18th birthday, which has made me feel quite old and quite emotional and quite reflective. I remember when my son was born. Of course, I do.
Well, hopefully.
Yes. And we went out and had some food, and he had his first beer. Don't think he enjoyed it. Don't think beer's for him. But yeah, my son is 18.
He's not had a beer before.
No.
This is surprising.
Plays by the rules. Doesn't like beer. Doesn't like carbonated drinks. So a lot of kegged product is carbonated, isn't it? Doesn't like Coke, Fanta.
I mean, I'm not a massive lover.
No, I'm not either. But
make me gassy.
Yeah. I had a Pepsi Max for the first time this year, yesterday, in Wakefield.
Wow.
That is gassy stuff as well, isn't it?
I prefer a fruit juice. You know, I was drinking peach juice in Greece. I wish they sold that in England. It's lovely.
Well, someone will.
It's not very...
Not mainstream.
No. You're lucky if you get a pineapple juice. It's usually apple or orange.
Yeah.
Boring. But there you go.
Boring. So that's it. We're off for the Beavers tonight. It's at the Blackpool Tower Ballroom in Blackpool. Me and Laura went last year. It was spectacularly hot. I hope it's not going to be as hot this year.
I have requested a lower table.
Crikey. It was Shane Ward. That's my goal. Was the entertainment last year?
He was terrible. Terrible. The year before it was Blue. I mean, you can't compete Shane Ward against Blue.
All right.
I mean, Blue had to sing the same song about
10 times.
But we don't care because we like them.
Who is it this year?
Don't know. It's a secret. We're going to find out tonight.
I don't like.
Hopefully better than Shane Ward. I'd really want it to be like McFly. That would be mega.
I don't think it will be McFly.
Why?
Because didn't they play in Manchester? They played at Barton Aerodrome last week.
There you go.
We're not going to play at the Blackpool. Do you think they will? They'll be expensive, won't they? What will they be? 10 grand, 20 grand?
No. I can't imagine that Blue are cheap.
I can't imagine Blue are expensive. Are you taking the piss? I can't imagine Blue are cheap. I can imagine Blue are cheap. Jesus.
I imagine Shane Ward.
Anthony Costa. Jeez.
Okay. Anyway,
no
let's
offense,
talk
Blue.
about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me feel stressed. Let's talk about stress.
Away you go.
That just came to
Panic
me.
attack on the beach is a bit serious, isn't it? Makes me a bit sad, that really.
Yeah, it was sad.
Why is that happen?
It's because I had to do a lot more work than I would normally do on holiday this time around because August was an absolute shed show.
Right.
And because everyone just decided to go on holiday in August. We should go on holiday in August.
We must.
Except it costs more than it does in September. So I think we've been dealing with issues with clients not paying on time, saying they're not paying, being difficult, team problems, worrying about sales and having to do more than I would normally and being away from it. I think it just having to deal with a lot of different things on Monday morning in very close succession. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Because most of Monday morning I spent in the beach bar with my laptop. And then I went to sit on the beach just for like half an hour. And then I had a panic attack.
Great.
Which came
They're
from
good things,
nowhere.
aren't they? Brilliant. Excellent.
So I thought we always talk about helpful things and
Positivity.
things,
Yeah.
but I think we don't talk about this enough. And it doesn't just affect business owners, of course it doesn't. But we don't talk about how stress impacts us physically, mentally, emotionally. And because why? Because we feel like people will judge us negatively. People will see it as a weakness, as a failing. Will it put off our clients because they think we can't handle it? So we don't talk about it, and that then makes it worse.
Absolutely. And that's this ego talking, isn't it? Because everything's not perfect all of the time. There are going to be ups and downs and times where we're going to feel stressed or down or like we can't cope. Or that's just normal, isn't it? That's just the roller coaster of human emotions. And we don't do it. We put up this facade, don't we? Everyone does, don't we? Don't they? Everyone does.
Yeah.
especially on LinkedIn and social media, there's the Instagram pictures and all that sort of stuff, and half the time it's not really real at all. So, and I'm guilty as that as anybody. Certainly on LinkedIn, September's been a really tough month for us. So so we're fighting against it in Target a little bit, but I've had to give a revised budget to Joe because a few things haven't come off, and it's tough. So
it is tough.
So we're going to give you some hints and tips, because you might need them. You might take a couple of things away and go, oh yeah, I'll do that. So being vulnerable is good though, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes you more human. And when I've posted about, I'm very positive on LinkedIn, but I think I am mostly a positive person.
You are.
Maybe from this morning, but I have got holiday blues.
Holiday blues.
But when I post things that aren't going well, because when people are always positive and everything's going amazing, that's what makes you feel like it's not real and it's fake, which it might be real, but what they're missing out is the bits when it's not amazing and positive and everything's going well, which make it authentic and normal real life. So when I've been vulnerable, people appreciate it because they're like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
But no one would ever say it without someone saying it first, because of the reasons why social media, business influencers, the pressure to succeed, the whole hustle and grind mentality, which I hate. Like, we're conditioned to always say we're smashing it. We're succeeding when you might be succeeding overall, but you might have a bad day, bad week, bad month. You might be having a bad year.
Yeah, and just relating back to Stephen Bartlett, and I know he listens. Thanks for listening, Stephen. Some of his podcasts, and the people that he interviews and the journey he goes on with those people, they're not all sunshine and rainbows, aren't they? They sometimes talk about adversity and the stress that they went through last week, last month, last year, a time ago to rebuild a business or through a relationship or something bad that happened to them. So that's why I really appreciate their podcast, because there are good things and there are bad things that happen to the people that he interviews. So that's a really real podcast. So we're going to share some good things, some good things and bad things today.
Yeah, and we just wanted to talk about it. So if you are listening and you are struggling, you know that you're not alone. You got me and Tony
Hello.
At the very least that have been through dealing with stress. It's caused anxiety, it's caused us depression over the years, on and off. You get to a point where you burn out, and that manifests itself in different ways in different people. So even if you feel like you're the only person in the world that's dealing with any number of these things, today you are not, because you've got me and Tony at the very least, and probably everybody else that listens to this podcast and everybody else that you come across will have dealt with this at some point. So you're not alone, and we do think it's important to talk about it. But you're right about the guest on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, because I remember I listened to Shoe Dog, and I probably mentioned it before on the podcast,
Nike,
which is Phil Knight's autobiography, and the guy who created Nike. And when you listen to the problems that he had to put up with at the beginning, it makes you like, oh, it's okay. Because look at Nike now.
They're doing all right, yeah.
They're doing okay.
Yeah.
A little bit. And it just makes you feel reassured that even someone of that stature and that company went through issues at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And probably have since. You just don't know about it because he's not written another book.
No, I'm just trying to think who else that... even Russ Cook, hardest geezer who ran across Africa, even listening to him and all the ups and downs that he had, even before he set off to Africa and after Africa, all the publicity that came with that, and the stress, and how he couldn't cope with all the noise, the inward noise, and his people that want to see him, and all that sort of stuff, and how he dealt with that level of stress. So you would think that was a great thing, but for him it was just overwhelming. And of course, stress is just all relative to everyone, isn't it? What's stressful to someone might not be stressful to someone else.
Well, no, and again, we're all different. We all have different pressure points. We all have different triggers. And even if things are going the best they've ever gone before, your career is on an upward trajectory, you're at the pinnacle, your business is doing the best it's ever done before, that doesn't mean that it's not stressful.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't mean you're not suffering from the impacts of stress. I remember the first time I was properly hit with depression. I was just set up fresh in 2016. I was busy. We had loads of clients. I was fully booked out. But I was on my own at home from 8 till 8, talking to candidates about them, about jobs, and then sending to clients. And I was depressed, and I had nothing really to be depressed about. My new business was thriving. I had work. I had a home. I had a partner. Everything was going really well. But I felt really sad. And it's because I'd isolated myself and I'd cut off. I was not used to being alone. Right. And I was alone, and no one really cared about me, because candidates don't. Why would they? No. They just want a new job.
Yeah, of course.
And so it really knocked me sideways, and it impacted me for probably 3 months. So it was short-lived. And doing the things that I learned to do to overcome it were the things I'd rather stick pins in my eyes and do, like going out, talking to people, doing exercise, not hiding under a duvet and watching Beverly Hills 90210.
Wow, retro.
Loved it.
Really?
But you have to do, so I feel like I learned early on, like, what is wrong with me? And then, you realise what it is. And then you're like, well, why do I feel like this? Because I've got nothing to be sad about. But it was stress.
And who knows why it comes over us. And that's just about keeping the mask up, isn't it? I wrote this down earlier. And it's keeping up with that perception of success and positivity. And sometimes we compare ourselves to others, don't we? And I have a phrase which is comparison is a thief of joy. But you don't, because when you see something on social media or you talk to other people, that's only one side. You don't see another side. So comparing ourselves to others isn't a good thing to be doing. When you peek behind the curtain, you might see another side of what's going on. And we're so reluctant, aren't we, to show when we're struggling? Well, some people are. I'm all right, but we need to let the ego go sometimes. And be vulnerable. Let the ego go.
And just be, you don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to announce it on a podcast or social media. But you should tell and share the load with somebody. Just someone. So, like, I had my first panic attack in 21 when it was a stressful time. I was in the gym. Caught me completely off guard. I had no idea what was happening. Thought I was dying. And since then, I have what I call heart flutters. Like, it's almost like a butterfly is in my chest, and I know that comes when I'm stressing it. That's my warning sign. Right. And then over the past year, it's been really hard, unexpectedly hard, with the cost crisis and my business partner being on maternity leave. And what gets me is when I'm fine when I'm in work and I'm busy and I'm doing things, but in the morning when I'm getting ready, I'll dry my hair, brushing my hair, put my makeup on. When my mind is free to wander, that's when I feel my most anxious.
Is it because you're reflecting on what's past and what you're doing?
Yeah, or worrying about it without realising I'm worrying about it. But then as soon as I get into the office, I'm fine. But managing that feeling in the morning is tough. So, like, things I've learned to do is I now tell someone I'm starting to feel like this.
Right.
I'll WhatsApp someone or voice note or tell Pete if he's there, for example. Or listening to just funny or light-hearted audiobooks or podcasts. Okay. Because then my mind is concentrated on the story.
Yeah, I get that.
Music doesn't work because I can tune out to music. But if I'm listening to a story and following something, then I'm distracting myself. So I'm not fixing the problem, but I'm preventing myself from getting to the point where I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack.
Wow, okay. I'm a bit like that, I suppose, because I don't like silence. I need to have a noise in the background of someone talking. Unless I'm running, then it can be music. But when I'm working at home, I have a bit of background noise on, and certainly when I'm, whenever I'm doing stuff, I've got to have some noise on, because I think a bit like you, my mind wanders and I go into the world of worry and stuff like that, which is just not helpful, is it? But it's normal. Our brains just like to do that. The chimp tries to
and I think
nibble away.
The listening to things, whilst it's not going to fix the problem, it may help you stay grounded and not spiral, so that you don't have a panic attack, because no one wants to have to go through that. But obviously, if you know that you can, it's noticing the trigger points for you. So for me, it's those flutters, and it's a feeling in my stomach. And then if I don't do anything about it, it builds and builds and builds, and then I have an anxiety attack or a panic attack.
Right.
And for the first time ever, probably a few months ago, it'll have been earlier this year. It might have been towards the end of last, because I was in my old house and I moved in February. Okay. I absolutely spiraled, and I've never done that, and I catastrophized for the first time ever. And Pete did not know what to do with me. I didn't know what to do myself. Right. And it's only ever happened once in my life, and it was awful. And so you have to take note of what happens to you, and then do things about it. So try to manage your stress, share the workload, exercise is the glue that holds me together. And when I've got busy in the past, it's the first thing I push. So I now know without a doubt that is a non-negotiable. I have to do exercise. I have to do something every day. And that has helped me not get to that point again, I think. So it's figuring out your trigger points, your warning signs that are tailored to you, and then learning what it is for you that helps.
Yeah, my trigger point is when I stop training. I don't know if you know, but I've got a prolapse disc at the moment. I've got my hot water bottle.
You've not mentioned it.
That's my hot water bottle. I'm putting back on my back. I'm nearly ready. And this is I've not run now for 4 weeks. And
Wow.
usually, this would be a massive warning sign and trigger point for me. So I would not be in good shape. I would not eat wholesome, nutritious food. I would binge on beige food and chocolate and just continue watching Netflix and not be productive at home and be a bit sluggish. But because I've been injured, I've taken a real concerted effort to know that I'm injured and know that I can't train and know that because when I'm injured, I don't go to the gym or do any running. That's just how I work.
It's tempting to just go the other way, but
Yeah,
like, well, sod it then. You're pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
But this time, and because I think I did so much training and so much running, that would elevate my endorphins and my happiness level. I'll be able to cope with my stress. My stress would be less because I can manage that. But I've made such a conscious effort this time to think about not spiraling and not being negative, that I've coped really, really well. But it takes practice.
You have coped well. I was ready for a spiral.
Yeah,
I was ready to be there, but you've not. I think you've had a few downer days, but
4 weeks is a long time for me not to run.
Well, you run 4 or 5 times a week.
Gym 3 or 4 times a week and a run for 3-4 times a week. Yeah, but this time it's been absolutely nothing. But I've just been so conscious to eat the right thing. Even when I'm going around Aldi, nope. Bananas, apples, pears, rice, chicken. So even today, broccoli, cauliflower, rice and chicken. Trying to be good.
This is good because in the absence of these are all the things that help. I mean, there'll be other things for the people, like, finding the joy in things and doing what gives you joy is very tailored to an individual.
Yeah, definitely.
But things that generally tend to span across most people: sleep, hydration, eating well, exercise,
meditation, yoga,
fresh air,
get outside,
and breathing exercise will help everybody.
Absolutely.
So they're the things that help. So if you can't do exercise, you can't get out as much. You're not sleeping because you're in pain. The things that are left for you are eating well, looking after your body and being hydrated, and it will make a difference.
Yeah,
if you'd not done that, you would have ended up in a much worse mental state than you have been.
Yeah, I'm not boozing. Boozing.
That's a big one because it's the one thing you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to go out. You don't want to talk to people. You don't want to exercise. You want to eat chocolate and crisps and pizza and biscuits and drink alcohol.
And drink beer and wine. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Have a big peak. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I did have some chocolate last night, though. But
I think that's okay. I think actually Emily was telling me on the Zoe podcast that also an investment on Dragon's Den by Stephen Bartlett. Apparently chocolate's good for you.
Well, I had 200 grams last night.
Well, there you go.
Arguably my monthly
It could
allowance.
also be argued as one of the things that brings you joy.
It does bring me chocolate. Brings me joy. Holy moly! And do you know what? Being sober brings me joy, and have clarity of mind in the morning, and not having those hangovers, and being fresh and feeling sharp upstairs. Some people would say I'm not sharp upstairs, but certainly not feeling sluggish and under the weather. So yeah, find the things that bring you joy. It could be riding a bike, could be reading a book, it could be walking up a mountain, could be doing yoga.
Could just be stroking a pug.
I'm glad you said pug. It could be, so just think about what.
That's not a euphemism.
That's not a euphemism either. Laura's got 3 pugs.
It's definitely not a euphemism.
Oh, hello. But just identify what those things are, which it's easy to say, isn't it? And in the moment when we're certainly for me, when I was spiraling, I would forget all that stuff because I'd be like, right, I'm hunkering down, I'm getting on Just Eat, I'm getting my duvet on the sofa, I'm just gonna feel sad and shit, and that's what I want to be. But you don't want to be. Nobody wants to feel like that. It's all right to sit for a while with those feelings, but just work out how you're going to get out of that little cul-de-sac. And those are the things that bring you joy will get you out of there. So, and there's other people. Speak to other people, of course, if you can. And if nobody would like to hear that you're not doing very well, and people will always give you an ear. You'll have 6 people, won't you, that you can just relate back to 6 connections. You'll have 6 people, your Avengers, that you think you can speak to and talk to and confide in when you've got stress and you're feeling panicky and you're in that moment of, I need to do something. So think about who those people are and reach out to them if you can.
Yeah, I probably have 6 business people that I would reach out to, because I think it's important. If you are a business owner, I think it's important to have your friends and your family.
Yeah.
And maybe talk to them. But I do think it's really important to cultivate, even if it's just a really small circle of other trusted business people, because they will absolutely, hands down, be experiencing or have experienced or will experience what you're going through. And so, by sharing, you're almost helping their future selves as well. But I think it's important to tell your loved ones. They may not always fully understand if it's
business related, of course.
They might not. They can always appreciate and empathise,
of course,
but never truly understand. So try and build a circle of people that will understand absolutely what you're going through, and tell them. And because what would you want? What advice would you give to them if they were going through something similar? You would tell them to talk to you, to let you in, to let you help. You would give them the advice we're probably giving you now, but it's really hard when you're the one in trouble to actually do the things that you would advise others to do.
Exactly right.
But don't hide away. Text or ring people when you feel it's coming on. Food thing, having personal goals really helps, because that keeps me on track. So you might not want to run a marathon like me and Tony.
No, you should do.
But find your own marathon
yes.
and work towards it, because regardless of whether you're feeling crap and you can't be arsed, you'd rather sit on the couch and eat ice cream. If you've got a marathon to run, you'll get your runners on and you'll get out the door and you'll feel a lot better. So obviously you might not want to run, but find something else like that that's a goal, because it holds you accountable like you'll not believe.
Exactly right. And finally, you've put a nice phrase at the end on page 3 here. Don't panic if you feel it coming on. Remember that you will be okay. It's temporary. Breathe through it. Tell someone. Drink some water.
And move.
Great.
Don't just sit
move.
there. Get up, walk around. It'll help.
Move around.
Do not sit there panicking, thinking that you might die because you
can't
breathe.
You won't.
Get up, breathe. Tell yourself you're fine.
Have a cup of tea.
Maybe some chocolate.
Cup of tea solves a lot of problems, if you ask me.
And remember, it's not weakness. It's not failure.
No.
You are a warrior and you are amazing, but at the end of the day, you're still human.
Yes. Well, that is good advice to end our podcast.
And it's a hard topic to talk about.
It is a little bit.
You can tell it's hard for both of us, because of our energy probably is lower than it was at the beginning, because we've both been through it. But
it's serious.
But we're both here living to tell the tale.
Absolutely.
And so will you.
Hooray! Good. Anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
We are going to the Biebers tonight, and we're going to get our glad rags on. Question, do you know what dress you're wearing?
No.
Brilliant.
I'm a bit scared they might not fit after my holiday escapades.
Well, the good thing is you've got loads of time to choose.
Loads of time, yeah.
Well,
I've got my appointment at Shezzy's hairdressers soon. She's going to curl my hair.
Who's Oh, you mean?
Sherelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only things I'd like to direct you to, ladies and gentlemen, please, is the Freshies. If you don't know what the Freshies are, it's our non-for-profit awards that are happening in June. I'm going to say the 23rd at Rivington Barn.
20th.
2025. We have got a lot of sponsors so far, and thank you to those guys who have sponsored for 2025. But we're still on the lookout for more. If you'd like to get involved with our event, we're also on the lookout for some judges to judge all the fantastic awards and the fantastic businesses that are going to be wanting to win a gong. So if you'd like to get involved, please send Vicky Taylor a message on LinkedIn. She would love to receive your message and give you more information about how you can get involved with our fantastic awards.
You only have until the end of September if you want to be a judge, because then we're closing it and then making the plan, booking the interviews. But if you wanted to, for as little as £250, you can get involved as a sponsor.
And why would you not?
Exactly.
And finally, 3rd of October 2025 is the return of Networking with a Twist. We're going to be going for a walk up Rivington with other great business people from Lancashire and the Northwest, and probably some dogs.
Literally only like 13 days from now.
So if you'd like to come...
I think you might have said October 25, but it's not. It's 24.
October 24. We might do it on October 25.
We may do.
We may do. Please check our website and social media for all that jazz.
Yeah, £10 to come, and all the money goes to charity.
And we are big on charity, folks, let me tell you. Thank you very much for listening. Laura is going to say one word to end the podcast now.
Peace out.